Hello everyone. This is going to be another one of my deck profiles for the upcoming BCS season. One of the potential decks I'm going to be running for BCS Melbourne, being Shiranui. A lot of it is pretty typical Shiranui stuff, so I'm just going to be going through my mind thoughts for specific things. So this is also before uh, the Furai hit to one. But if that comes to English or not. If it happens within the next handful of weeks, I do have a plan that I'll go over. But this is before Furai goes to one. So we do obviously have to have the specific ride line because we're a stride deck. A lot of this is pretty typical. We've got the 3 Varina Esperadia, only 3. I don't want 4 because it can be a bit excessive, you know? Same deal with this dude. You could run 4, but 3 I have found to be the best number, especially in combination with this guy. He's just more shield value. Also very nice original TD Oberos we've got here. I've got the hot stamp one from the TD in that was released during G. So we've got the one in the ride deck and only 2 in the main deck because Karakitsune can search them, and you only need 2. I'm running only 2 of the Dragon Empire Dark States, dude, because my how much I value the restanders, Sekie and Furai, I value them higher than what this guy can do. This guy is good. He does give you the Soul Blast, and he can kill a guy. Or you can just call something out. He might become more valuable if we get the Furai hit, because if you Soul Charge the Furai, it can call him out. But at the moment, as it is, I think this is fine at 2. We've got 4 Sekie and 4 Furai. I know this Sekie isn't at 4 isn't super standard, but in my experience, I have found that it adds extra pressure, extra aggression that other decks just cannot deal with. Especially once you're at GB2, you can you gain the 10k. We've got the 3 PGs with the Sanctitude. So I've got 4 Kataragitsune. I know a lot of people run 3 of them, drop 1 of that for a 4th Shenri, but I like this so that early game I can discard him for riding, or if I need to discard a spare Obero for riding, I can then fetch the Obero back from drop zone. He himself, I know I've got the Obero, this dude, and this guy that can pay for stride by themselves, but this one you don't typically want to be discarding to stride. That's essentially just another Furai. So having this guy is very strong, especially since it can fetch up an Obero when you need it. Uh, Much like Karogitsune, people also, from what I've seen, play 3 Tenrei. I've got 4 because in my testing of having him at 3, he didn't appear as often as I would like him to. You would see 1, but then it would get sniped or spun or something would happen to it. Uh, and it would you just wouldn't see it again. So that is why I'm running 4, just for consistency, so that if you do need to pitch one early to ride, if you need to guard with one early, because they know you're a stride deck and you don't have an early game, so they can rush you, something like that. That's why I run 4 of them. And so this is probably the biggest controversial part. I only have 3 Shenri, because so it in my experience it only really comes up early game because hold on, let me fix up the camera. Why are my eyes bugging out? Okay. It only really comes up early game because so the only order we have that's not a blitz is this Radiance Caliburn. We're more than likely never going to be doing the draw two. It can come up. It will come up because Pot of Greed is just good, but it's mainly there for the soul and countercharge because otherwise, outside of that, and like the fact that Shenri puts herself to soul and the Dual Nation can soul charge one, we don't have any other form of resource management. There is no countercharge outside of healing our damage, and there's no consistent way to countercharge like what BrainGate might have with Bobal Mine or something. So that's why we do run this, and we will more than likely always be choosing the resource management. So if we do play that, we can use Shenri to put her to soul through that, but it mainly just comes up early game to cycle, put to soul, bank up soul early game, because outside of uh, what's his name, Magen Tenbu, we don't have a card that retires because we do have this guy, but it's a counterblast, and you know, and Magen Tenbu kills the thing that it dominates. So we will more than likely always be outnumbered because they will be trying to kill off our restanders. So that's why I've got only just 3 Shenris. Um, for the OT, ideally we would be playing the Dragon Empire one, but that is not happening because it's restricted for us. So in my experience, I don't know if it's even necessarily experience, just my opinion, red OT is the best. You could be playing the light OT to just hate out more rear guards, but then that faces the problem of you might not have stuff to dominate on the follow-up turn if they just choose not to commit to anything. You can be playing the dark OT, which might end up being the case. We might end up switching to the dark OT if the Furai hit comes through, because if Furai goes to damage, it can then save our Furai. Um, and the blue OT is same theory as dark OT, but not as important. So why I'm running red OT is just because it gives us another attack where uh the Dragon Empire one would give us another 3 attacks. So this one just gives us another 1. And another 2, I suppose. Wait, right? Just another 1. So, you know, it's fine, I guess. Uh I know a lot of people run draws. I think the draws can be excessive because like you go triple drive, triple drive, triple drive. This guy soul charges, Shenri draws, Tenri draws. So I'm at like out of abundance of caution because I have gotten low uh, deck count a lot, and also the fact that if you win the dice roll, you elect to go second, so your opponent will go to grade 3 first. This is just more guard value. I'm not running effect crits because the extra 1k. So I know that it going to soul will come up. It can come up, but it being 1k less comes up more in playtesting because of the crest. You go from 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, or like just even boosting. That is an extra 5k that they have to drop, opposed to being 4, 9, 14, 19, 24, yada, yada, yada. Um, you can play the crits with the effect. It's just my personal preference. I prefer the extra pushing power that they can provide if you need to commit a crit to the board. 3 of just the normal ones and 3 of the normal heals and one of the if your Vanguard's grade is less than their one, because again, you will be electing to go second if you can. So it just gains more shield. We talked about Caliburn. You can do Pot of Greed if you want to, but it will most likely be the Resource Management, Sanctitude, and you've got our Strides. Fun fact, you can have up to 16 pieces. I didn't know this. You can have up to 16 Strides in Standard. It's just we don't have 16 Strides for any of the clans. It's just interesting to me. So if we do get the Furai bans in the upcoming weeks or months, before I go to BCS, I will. So obviously, these 3 Furai come out because I have to, and I will probably put Brachioforce back in. I used to play Brachioforce, but it has unfortunately had to come out. But it will probably go back in because it provides an early game source of counterplay for us. Like they will commit a bunch to the board, so we can then counter that by playing down our Brachioforce, swinging into a rear guard. They let that go through, Brachioforce triggers, and then we can kill like the booster or something. And because of that, and if the Furai hit does happen, we will probably then change the OT to Dark OT. But other than that, it will, for the most part, stay the same. Maybe this will get bumped up to 3 or 4, just because if Furai does go to Sol, it can grab it out. But this is the only way that Furai can go to Sol. So, yeah. That is the deck profile. It was a bit more significantly simpler than my Mega Colony one. But yeah, thank you everyone. Here is the deck code if you are interested in it for whatever reason. But yeah, thank you everyone. Okay then, bye bye.